All right, so I want to add a little bit of JavaScript so that if we try to submit anything that's not a valid link, we get an error message. So first off, let's create the div. We're going to go back up to our form here. So where is our form? Right here. So it ends here, and I want to go under the button. And this is going to be where the error message is. So for this, let's make it absolute, and let's say we'll say left 7, bottom 3, and text red, also text dash small, and italic. All right, so if I put something in here, let's just say hello, and I save. It's going to look like this. All right, now we're going to have the text is going to be put in there dynamically with JavaScript, so we don't actually want to put anything in there. Also, I want to make the border of it red, or of the input red. So if I were to add on here, let's say border dash red and save, you'll see the red border. So we want to do that dynamically as well. So let's create a JavaScript file. We're going to create a folder called JS, and in that we're going to create a script.js. And the first thing we want to do is bring in the form, the input, and the error message. And all of those should have IDs. In fact, the error message we didn't add one to. So let's say ID. We'll set it to ERR-MSG. And then the form itself and the input should have an ID. We have link input and link form for the ID here. So let's bring those in, create variables for those. So input, set that to document.getElementById, and we're going to get that with link-input because that's what I called the ID. And then we also want the link form ID, and we'll create a variable. We'll call it link form. And then for the error message, that has an ID of error-MSG. So we're bringing these in. Now we want to take the link form, and we want to add an event listener onto it because we want to listen for a submit event. And then when that happens, we're going to run a function, and we'll just call it form submit. All right, so we'll come down here. We'll say function form submit. Now, I don't want the form to actually submit to a file like this. So what we can do is pass in an event object. And on that event object is a method called prevent default. So we want to call that. That way we can stop it with JavaScript and then do what we want. For instance, I'll just console log 1, 2, 3. So let's come over here, open up our console, and if I submit, okay, so that's not working. Let's see what I do wrong here. Link form, is that the right ID? Link form add event listener, submit. We call the function form submit. Oh, we didn't link the script, the script file. So we have to put this somewhere. Let's just go right here and say script source and JS/script.js and defer. All right, so now if I come down here and submit, now you see it doesn't submit to the file and it's console logging 1, 2, 3. Okay, now to get whatever is typed in that input, we can get with input. So that's the actual element that we brought in, and then on that is a value because it's a text input. Whatever you put in there is going to be the value. So if I put in Brad and I submit it, I'm going to see Brad down here. So I want to check that value. Let's make this into an if statement. We'll say if the input value is equal to nothing, just an empty string, then I want to show a message that says please enter something. So I'll take my error message, which is that div that we created, and I'm going to set the inner HTML equal to please please enter something. All right, so I'll come over here and I'm going to leave it blank and submit it, and I get this please enter something in that error message. Now I also want to make the border red, so we could take the input and we can use this class list object that has an add method, and what we can do is add a class to it, and we'll go ahead and add the border red class. So now if I click this, now I get a red border and the message. Now I also want to make it so if I put something in that is not a valid URL, then I also get an error message. And I'm actually going to paste in a function, and this is the kind of thing that you would just search Stack Overflow for. It's just a regular expression to validate a URL. So right above the form submit function, I'm going to paste in this valid URL function, takes in a string, and it just checks a regular expression, and it returns true if it's a URL, a valid URL, and false if it's not. So let's just add on here an else if. And we're going to say if not valid URL, and then just pass in our input.value. If it's not a valid URL, then we're going to pretty much do this same thing, except we'll make it a different message. We'll say please enter a valid URL. And then else, if both of those pass, then we'll go ahead and just paste that in again. We'll set the inner HTML of the error message to nothing, and then we'll remove the border. Okay, and then I guess we'll just do we'll do an alert and just say success. And if you want to add the functionality to actually shorten the link, if there's some kind of library or that you want to use, you can do that. But let's try it out. We'll just add in here HTTP test, and now we get success. Good. If we enter something that's not a URL, we get please enter a valid URL. And of course, you could just make the input a URL type. So let's see, where is it? Right here, input. If I just make this URL instead of text, then you just get the, oops, let me try that again. You just get the standard HTML5 checking. But I just wanted to add something different and show you how we could pull the variables into JavaScript, work with them, and output something, and change the look of this through JavaScript. So in the next video, we're going to work on, let's see, we're going to start on this advanced statistics and these feature boxes here. So we'll get to that next.